Diego Armando Maradona was the original football alien.
He was the Michelangelo of the beautiful game. The football pitch was his canvas and the ball at his feet, a medium of artistic expression that was unlike any other.
He's worshipped in Argentina. Everyone was totally in awe of him. Head and shoulders the best player of my generation.
Blessed with otherworldly talent, Diego grew up in the slums on the outskirts of Buenos Aires, Argentina, and it only took him 8 years to start turning heads. As Argentinos Juniors youth coach Francisco Cornejo recalls, "I was really struck by his talent and couldn't believe he was only 8 years old. When we discovered he'd been telling us the truth about his age, we decided to devote ourselves purely to him." It turned out to be a pretty good shout, as he would lead the youth team to a 141 game unbeaten streak. So naturally, his first team debut was next, coming just 10 days before his 16th birthday. A couple months later came his international debut, as the teenager who looked up to Rivellino and George Best was becoming a star in his own right. After spending 5 years at Argentinos Juniors, he transferred to Boca Juniors and finally got himself an Argentinian league title.
What he was able to do in that era, don't forget the laws of the game in that era were completely different. Defenders tried to kick lumps out of him, and did, right? Pitches were terrible. I mean, absolutely terrible most of the time. Players wouldn't even train on them today.
He was just full of creativity. He was just inventful. You never knew what he was doing the next moment. And he got so much stick. He was continuously fouled, hammered by defenders, by midfielders. So everybody was chasing him. And he always found solutions. Maradona was a genius in finding solutions on the field. The goals that he scored were so creative, were just unique. He was just unique.
After the 1982 World Cup, Maradona was transferred to Barcelona for a then world record fee of £5 million. In his first season, he won both the Copa del Rey and Copa de la Liga. Best of all, they both came against Real Madrid. In the first leg of the Copa de la Liga finals at the Santiago Bernabeu, Maradona scored and became the first Barcelona player to be applauded by the Real Madrid fans. The only others to have done it since are Ronaldinho in 2005 and Andres Iniesta in 2015.
He juggled the ball all the way out to the centre circle, and then he got to the centre circle still juggling it, and then he went bang, and he whacked it as high as he possibly could, and he waited. And it came down, and he went bang, and he did it again. And he did it 13 times, and the most he ever did was walk 3 paces to it. And all of us were sitting there going, oh my God, that's
like I was then.
That's impossible.
It is.
And I remember going to train the next day in Barcelona and stuff, and we all tried it, and the best anyone did was 3, and they were running for the 3rd one. And I've just never seen anyone have just such a beautiful affection with a football.
Unfortunately, due to illness and injury, as well as controversial incidents on the field, Maradona had a difficult tenure in Barcelona. First, a bout of hepatitis, then a broken ankle caused by a reckless tackle by Athletic Bilbao's Andoni Goicoechea, aka the Butcher of Bilbao, and lastly the 1984 Copa del Rey final. This time the Butcher was involved again, and Maradona snapped, throwing headbutts and elbows as a melee broke out. The Barca higher-ups were not very impressed with his outburst, and so he was off to Napoli for £6.9 million, another world record. After his presentation in Naples, the common sentiment around the city was that the saviour had arrived. A local newspaper stated that despite the lack of a mayor, houses, schools, buses, employment and sanitation, none of this matters because we have Maradona. Prior to Maradona's arrival, no team in the south of the Italian peninsula had ever won a league title. He joined a once great team that was facing relegation at the end of the 1983-84 season, in what was the toughest and most highly regarded football league in Europe. At Napoli, Maradona reached the peak of peaks, leading them to not 1, but 2 Serie A titles, and claiming the crown as the best player in the world.
All my old friends here in Bayern have a big favor for Pelé, but I believe when Maradona played football, it was more difficult to play football, and he played in Argentina for Boca, he played in Spain for Barcelona, and then after in Napoli, and living in Italy at that time, at the same time, he changed the whole atmosphere of the entire city.
I made sure that my son knows a lot about him, even being born after Diego Maradona as a player. And I know that my son will make sure that one day when he's a father, he will not let his kids forget who he is.
You know how I said he reached the peak of peaks? Well, that peak got even higher at the 1986 World Cup. Maradona, the alien, was unplayable, as he put Argentina on his back all the way to the Jules Rimet.
And the adulation you see, it's not just for the football, what Guillaume said, it's because he was flawed. So the man on the street in Buenos Aires in Argentina can say, he's like me.
The thing with Diego, it was more his character, was something
Hugely
else.
charismatic.
Yeah, charismatic. And this is probably is more like Argentinian people. She's closer to the people.
They see themselves in him.
Exactly.
He just had that adulation that would never go, and I just think that's unique to him. Not just the greatest footballers in the world we've ever seen. I just think there was something unique about the way he was as a man and as a person that really connected with the people of his homeland.
He played every minute of every Argentina game, scoring 5 goals and providing 5 assists. But it was the quarter-final against England where he ascended to godhood in Argentina. His first goal was scored by striking the ball with his hand, with Maradona describing it as a little with the head of Maradona and a little with the hand of God. It was one of the biggest fiascos in World Cup history, and of course Diego was at the centre of it. And then came Maradona's second goal, his magnum opus. Just 4 minutes after the hotly disputed handball, he received the ball in his own half, swiveled around, and with 11 touches ran more than half the length of the field, dribbling past 5 English outfield players and leaving Peter Shilton on his backside before finding the back of the net. It was later voted by FIFA as the greatest goal in the history of the World Cup and was voted goal of the century in a 2002 online poll conducted by FIFA.
I met him once, which is for a player. I was not a player anymore, but for a player of my level, which I was like meeting the Pope, to be honest.
His game against England was an accurate reflection of him as both a player and a person. You didn't know whether you'd get something beautiful or something a little more unsavory. Either way, you wouldn't have wanted to miss it. Thanks for watching.